this client has a big request. He wants 2 full sleeves and the back piece. And it's about the escape from hell, like a sort of representation of a bad period of his life. The intermediate phase, where is solving the problem but is not completely solved. And finally, the last scene, that will be a peace situation where everything is solved and everything is cool. Here you can see I'm doing some anatomy studies for the man that is escaping from hell, because of course I suggested him to start with one sleeve and then move to the other sleeve and left the back piece as at last. And he wanted also let's say the bad phase of his life on a sleeve, the intermediate on the back piece, and the final one on the other arm. But in my opinion, I suggested him, but we'll see, to put the bad period of his life, this, let's call it escape from hell, on one sleeve. On the other sleeve, the intermediate phase, where everything is not completely solved, and leave the last one where everything is solved, everything is positive, on the back piece, because I think it works better. Also because in my opinion, when you do a project like this, the best place where to put your best image is the back piece, and the arms, well, the sleeves becomes a sort of frame. But anyway, apart from that, we started from this one, that is the bad situation, and so he had a few ideas, but I had pretty much carte blanche, so I could do approximately whatever I wanted. And so I had this idea about this man escaping from hell, like from a shaft, a dark shaft, where there are these kind of tentacles, evil tentacles, little demons. Then they are trying to push him down, and he's of course trying to escape and to find light. And so this was my idea, everything dark, and to also unify a little bit my passion for biomech, comics and caricatures and stuff like that. I decided to put them all together. So there are these tentacles that are a little bit biomech. There are these little demons that are quite caricatural, like cartoonish, cartoonish, a little bit comics, but anyway, they are pretty evil, but not so disturbing. They are almost funny. And then there is the anatomy of the man, so I try to put all together in this design, and so I'm quite proud of it. I had to study a little bit of anatomy because, of course, when I was doing anatomy all day long, 24 hours a day, every day, it was easy to work on a human body. But nowadays that I'm doing tattoos, and so I'm working on anatomy 2-3 times a month, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. It always depends by the request of my client and what he wants. If he wants I don't know, a portrait, a landscape, a biomech, or whatever. So I'm not working on human body all day long, every day of the week, every day of the month. So I have to study a little bit, and it's always funny. I always, not funny. It's fun. I love to do anatomy. I would love to do more, but anyway, you do what you can. So I did my study. I created my design. I used pencils, colored pencil, to create the sketch, as you can see, because in this way I can set up my design, have a fast idea about what I want, how it could be the final result. And then when I did this kind of sketch, I can start fresh with a new design, and also correct some anatomy, some stuff, trying to fix everything that I find wrong. And so then I move on. I I know I could have used the computer to make this design, but I don't know why. Sometimes I prefer, especially when I have to work with anatomy. I don't know, probably because I'm an old guy, an analogical guy, so I I like to go back in time and do this kind of design as I did when I was doing comics. Probably that's why I prefer to uh, even throw away some piece of paper, but I don't know. I love to do this kind of work on paper compared to the computer. And just before you saw a comic from Joe Madureira, and I used that comic to find inspiration for My Little Demon, because I think Madureira is one of the best comic artists in the world. Unfortunately, he doesn't do comics anymore from a long time, and it's quite sad for me. But anyway, in that comic there are this horde of uh, little creatures that I found pretty interesting, and so I studied a little bit his style to create these little demons. So just a curiosity that maybe you're interested in. So as you can see, I continuously work on the head, because at some point I felt it didn't work. It didn't work in one way, it didn't work in another way. So I had to work a lot on the head. I also took pictures of myself, but nothing worked, not as I liked. So the only way that I had to create what I had in mind was to redraw and redraw and redraw until I found what I had in mind. So now that the design is completely done, I used, as I told you, a colored pencil and a mechanical pencil with a color at mine to create my design. And anyway, all the tools that I use, I will put in the description a link, so if you're interested you can buy them on Amazon. Now back to the design. Now it's just a matter of shading all the stuff and create this idea of this kind of shaft where everything is dark except of this evil monstrous face, where from which all the tentacles starts, and everything must be very dark apart from the top. And so I use cross hatch to create this design. It's a technique that I didn't use for a while, and I don't know, I decided to use this technique because instead of soft shades and so on, I like the idea of using cross hatch, also because well, some of the technique that I know, but I don't use it a lot, so I wanted to use it a little bit. And I discovered that, especially for this project, worked really well. Of course, on the arm of my client, I will use soft shades and so on. But using cross hatch, it made everything fast and easy. So I think I will use this technique a little bit more. Of course, it depends. If I have to do a portrait, a big face or stuff like that, probably it's much better a soft shade. But for stuff like this, I think I will use more the cross hatch technique, because I really enjoyed it. And also at the end of the design is, I don't know, I find it fascinating, more cool. It's cool. It's a cool design. And of course I did it, so of course I think it's cool. And every time that you do a design, the last one is always your best shot, and probably the next one will be my best shot, even better than this one. But of course, anytime that you do something new, you're evolving, and so it's pretty obvious that is, yeah, well, you're never really satisfied of your work. You will find always something that you will like to do in a different way. But anyway, as much as the work the design works, I think that's okay. And so it's hard now to say anything else, because of course it's just a sketch, it's just a pencil drawing. So find something new to tell you about this design is not easy. Let's talk a little bit about the tools. I use the Tombow eraser, mechanical sharpener, mechanical eraser, a lot of pencil. So if you're interested in this kind of material, you can find a link in the description. So if you're interested on giving a try to some of these tools, well, it feels a little bit hard that you need these tools, because of course every designer has its own mechanical pencils, eraser. But whatever, if you think something can be interesting to give it a try, just have a look about the link in the description. So now I'm just struggling to find something to fill this video with, something that is useful to you. And also, I don't want to go on with this kind of self-celebration about how proud I am of my work. So it's really hard when you have to explain your own work to someone in a video with a time lapse. Probably it will be boring if I would do something like that while I'm doing the design, because of course it's hours of drawing. Probably I have more to say while I'm doing the work than watching it months later, trying to find out what I did, how I did it, and what was the... Well, there is a particular that I really like in this design, and is the point of the tentacle that reaches the light and gets fired. So I know it's a little bit well, not boring, but usual. You think about demons and vampires that in the light they catch fire. So it's I didn't invent anything, but I like that little spot, little idea, the idea of these tentacles that catch fires. So yeah, and now I'm just cleaning the design, and later on I scan the design on my computer to clean it up and increase some contrast and watch if there's something that I don't like and I want to fix it, clean it a little bit, create the stencil from this design. I always create the stencil from the computer, from a scanned version of my design, because I find it more well, easy. And also I print a perfect black outline, so it's a lot easy. And so this is the design, and now you will see the final result. Well, it's not completely healed because the guy lives very far away from the studio, so I had to, well, be satisfied with the last session. Usually I retouch a little bit session by session my work, but this time, just because he's living very far away, he decided to not come back when the tattoo will be healed. So this is the result after the last session, with a little bit of redness and so on. So thank you for watching the video, and subscribe the channel, click the bell, and see you later. Bye bye.